Hello and welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is a day in which I neglected to see what day of the week it was. I mean, I know the day of the week. I don't know what day of the month is. I feel like it's August something. 18th. Does that sound crazy? I don't know. It is. I totally guessed. Yes. So it's Tuesday, August 18th. This is episode 153, I think. Those are the blues of my addled mind. Whew. Yeah. Is the blues of my addled mind the name of the podcast this week? I guess it is. That's really the name of the podcast. Oh my gosh, how are you? I feel like I have a hair right here. You can't see it. I'm not picking invisible caterpillars off my face. There was a hair there. I hope you're doing well. I guess I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat Squirrel SQRL on Instagram. How are you? Let's see. Oh, there may be impending wonkiness. There may be some weirdness with the podcast, not like current episodes, but there's probably going to be some weirdness with past episodes because the company Blip, who I have used historically to upload my podcasts, they are not going to have that. They're going out. They were bought by another company. It's, but so the episodes should still be on YouTube. It really should be because they actually do. It's not just a link transfer. It's like an actual file transfer. So they should still be available on YouTube. But there will probably be, there definitely will be wonkiness on the blog for old episodes because I don't have an unpaid intern to go back and fix 140 embedding links. I know. If I was more serious, I'd take care of that. Guess what? I'm not. Olive, the intern, is not very adept at using a mouse, so I don't know what to do. But anyway, so just FYI, it's not gonna nothing's gonna disappear. There'll be slight wonkiness, just heads up, in case you're like, there we go. Okay. Shenanigans. I'm impressed by the symmetry in my right? It's all shenanigans. There haven't been a lot of shenanigans. I've been sewing a lot. There's literally, I'm building a fortress of bags. It's kind of crazy. Okay, it's not it's mega crazy. But I'm kind of enjoying just I know I need to ship them. I know I need to ship them soon because it's going to get too overwhelming if I wait much longer. I need to start shipping them out in chunks rather than waiting and trying to do it all at once. But it's also really fun just to see my fort build itself. Right? Because I made all this stuff. I know it's totally goofy, right? But it was just when I was with a bakery. I worked at a bakery, an artisan bakery at one point in my life. My many-jobbed life. That's another story. And it was a job that I'd had after having lots of office-y kinds of jobs. And I was always so excited at the end of the day because you'd have these giant racks full of bread that I had contributed to making. Especially when I baked, because that seems like it's really yours then, right? You pull it out of the oven and it's a million trillion degrees and you're covered in soot when you go to the grocery store. Let me just discuss. I wore Hanes men's undershirts because it was 1,000,000 degrees. And so I would often, no care to what bra was under them. Let's not be silly. I worked at a bakery with a bunch of gnarly dudes. Who cares? And some gnarly ladies. I love gnarly ladies, by the way. I kind of am one sometimes. Okay, all the time. But anyway, so I would never pay because I was also kind of broke all the time because working in an artisan bakery is an awesome job, but it's not paid well. Okay. So I have my my Hanes, which are like semi-translucent, right? The undershirts. And I was my fat self, by the way. I mean, I was more toned because I was hauling bread all day. I would love to have known my measurements. Isn't that silly? I just really curious. But anyway, so I was more toned, but I was still me. You know what I mean? Still this. Maybe plus or, well, not plus. Maybe minus 30 pounds, 20 pounds, something like that, but still me. So then I would go into the grocery store after work, especially after you bake, because it's really hot, you're sweaty. And then you have to sweep the oven out because it's a big hearth oven. It's not like a fancy commercial place. It's like an awesome hearth oven. And like soot and stuff builds up inside the oven. So you have to take this very long brush and you have to fling it into the back of the oven. And then, I mean, it's like, I don't know, how long were the decks? Like 10 foot? Maybe they were 8-foot decks. 8 foot. 8-foot decks. This is, you fling the broom essentially at the back of the oven and then you whoosh it out to get all the soot out of the oven. And of course it ends up on your boobs if you're me. Because you can only get so far away from the oven in that like millisecond that you have to yank the broom out of there. Oh my God, Olive is sleeping on the futon next to me and it's the cutest thing ever. Oh, she's a terrible dog, but she's so cute. Oh. Anyway, she's a terror. But so I'd always go to the grocery store with like my Hanes men's semi-transparent t-shirt and who knows what bra and soot all over me. And of course then I'm wearing like cut off jeans, like capri, I know, right? Like cut off men's, like covered in dough. I used to wear Converse because there's no point wearing good shoes there because they were just going to be disgusting. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, how did my back take it? But whatever. I was younger then. And more toned, apparently. But this is my shoes were always covered in dough and disgusting. Just roll up into the grocery store. Where did the story even come from? What was I talking about? I don't even know where that happened. Oh, my fortress of bags. Yeah, clearly that led to that. Fortress of bags? Sooty boobs. That's the train of thought in everyone's mind, right? Whatever. So anyway, so I need to start shipping them out. I'm going to ship them out like by time ordered. So I'm going to try to go sequentially. There might be blips in there just for like special requests or something like that, but that's the intent. But I totally need an intern. I'm like, what if this neighborhood kid that's like, you know, in high school, I'm like, I wonder if I could convince them that they need to learn how to do shipping. I'd pay them. Anyway, that's happening. So those are the like day-to-day shenanigans. So it's the shenanigans. Like, it's really just been trying to keep my head above water. Not just because that, just because of other stuff too, but just like trying to make sure that the house is not so filthy that I'm shut down, you know. And all of that craziness. Oh, that's right, because we got a puppy, because she's crazy. And we went for a walk this weekend, and as a family, and it's only like 2.25 miles basically. But Olive's legs are like 3 inches long, right? Maybe they're 4 inches long. So we carry her for part of it. But it's very funny because she really wants to keep up with Annie. She wants to keep up with Annie. And Annie is kind of like a beast. Annie's a small dog. She's like 17 pounds. But I really feel like she could be like a running companion. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, I know 2.5 miles is not very far. 2.25 miles. I know. Like, I know that's not very far. But she could totally run that and just be fine. Because she never acts tired. But Olive is just like, she's trying to keep up. I had moments like that too. My husband of the 12-foot long legs, so Annie's the pace setter, right? Annie walks in the front because we're stupid humans. We don't ever smell where we're going. We'd walk right into bears. So she does not trust us to walk in the front. So Annie walks in the front. Well, Olive wants to be like behind Annie, right? So if my husband has Annie's lead and then he and Annie are setting the pace, I totally have to do intervals to keep up. It's ridiculous. He like looks back and I'm jogging and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to get you down. Because Because you know what it is? It's like when you have a pace, even when you try to slow down, you can't. Do you know what I mean? So like I yell at him like, slow down. And he slows down. But then again, it's just your natural pace and it just picks back up. It's not like he's trying to be a jerk or anything. That's what I'm believing. But, so why am I talking? I should never do this podcast in the afternoon. Yeah. Anyway. But so yeah, there's not been that many shenanigans, like shenanigans in the mind. I've been listening to the Inspector Gamache books by Louise Penny as I've been sewing, because her newest book is coming out in the series. I still enjoy them. I really enjoy that narrator. He narrates The Watership Down, which I want to be the person who can read that book. I don't know who that person is that I want to be. Now that I've said that, like, it's not like a person I aspire to. I guess I want to read that book, right? I want to read that book, but I've tried several times, like, since my adolescence, and I just cannot get into it. His narrator is Ralph Cosham, I don't know, Cosham. I love his voice. And so he also narrates Watership Down. So I'm like, maybe this might happen. So those are not like the best. They're enjoyable though. And again, I love that narrator so much. And it's winter in Canada, which makes me happy because it's not winter here at all. So, I'm so disappointed. Oh, I've also been listening to Lori R. King, who's the woman who does the Mary Russell mysteries, which is like Mary Russell meets Sherlock Holmes later in his life. And then if you are interested in mysteries, like those are really good, but I will be honest with you. I think the first one I read or listened to, I can't remember now, was A Monstrous Regiment of Women, which actually sounds like something I would really like. I just not like it. It's like a feminine, like her books for me are really hit or miss. Like I either really enjoy them quite a lot, and I also like the narrator who narrates these, Jenny Sterlin. I either really like them or I'm like completely ambivalent about them. And that's how I felt about one of them I really liked, which was called, let's see, I've listened to 3 in a row. So The Language of Bees, The God of the Hive, both very enjoyable. The Pirate King, which is the next one after those two, again, not bad. I just could not get into it at all. So this is post World War I. Again, Mary Russell, Sherlock Holmes. It's very enjoyable. I like them quite a lot, except the ones I don't. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have tried to read them because it sounded like something you liked and you did not like it, give another one a try. You don't have to read them in sequence. The one about the Moors is very good. I liked it quite a lot. Can't remember what that one's called, but they're on the Moors and it's very enjoyable. Anyway, that was all to say. I was just rolling back to try to figure out the name of the book I was going to talk to you about. I don't even know how to talk about this one yet. There's a book called Gorge, and it's written by Kara Richardson Whitley, or Whiteley. I apologize, I'm not sure which one it is. It's probably Whiteley. And it's the reason I started to listen to it, and I have not finished it yet. I am 4 hours and 37 minutes left, so I'm not even quite halfway through listening to it. But she was speaking at our REI, and the My Journey is, let's see, what's it called? It's called Gorge. My Journey Up. Oh, it's not going to tell me there. Anyway, I don't want to listen to it. No, sorry. Yeah, stop. But anyway, she hikes Mount Kilimanjaro, and she's over 300 pounds. She's a tall woman. She's like 6 feet tall, I think. And she's 300 pounds. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Because I don't know if you're new, you don't know this about me. I'm super fat. But I also like to move. So I was like, yes, that sounds so cool. So I signed up to go to her talk because it was free, and I figured out what the heck. And then I started listening to the audiobook. I'm so glad I started listening to the audiobook. And again, it may redeem itself in the next 4 hours and 37 minutes. I don't know. But so far, Now, this is not to say that I could write a book, because obviously I can't. However, it is like the most depressing book I have read, I think. It's so depressing. And the woman who wrote Wild, she called it the most inspirational. I find it the opposite of inspirational, quite frankly. She's a big lady, right? So she's in my neighborhood. She's actually smaller than me, but she's in my neighborhood. Okay? She's in my neighborhood of fat. And like, it feels like, and again, maybe this is just my perspective because I was expecting something else. Like I was just expecting it to be like Bill Bryson, only a fat lady on Mount Kilimanjaro. Maybe that's what I was hoping for, and that's just not what happened. But it's, instead of it being like, it's not inspirational to me. That's just all I can say. It's like every terrible thing. Okay, being fat is not fun. You do get to eat more Twinkies. But it's not fun, okay? Like, there's a lot of things about it that suck. There's a lot of things that suck about every niche person that you are, okay? All of us have things that suck. It's no better or worse than anybody else's. But I expect that when you're a woman who is a larger woman and you have the cojones to hike Mount Kilimanjaro, that you're going to be able to like deal with those things in stride, and she cannot. Or maybe she will later, I don't know. But at this point, she has not. It is all about like all the terrible things that happen and like how bad they are. Instead of it being like, okay, so at one point, she's actually hiked this mountain 3 different times, or has attempted to hike it 3 different times. The first time was evidently some like very rewarding experience. She lost a lot of weight. She felt better about herself. Yada, yada, yada. And then she did it again, I think to try to lose weight. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. So she did it again, but then she like had gained a lot of that weight back and had maybe not been as, well, obviously had not been as active as she had been for the first one. And so she does it again and she gets to the mountain and realizes that her pants don't fit her. I could have made that a hilarious story. Right? You're in Africa. There's no Amazon 1-hour delivery. Even if there was, Amazon probably doesn't have the pants you need. But you know what I mean? Like, you could make that a funny story. And she makes it the saddest story ever. It's so sad. Anyway, so I don't know. Maybe somebody else could read it and find it inspirational. I'm sure they can, obviously. The lady said she did. It's just like the annals of somebody who really doesn't like themselves, like hiking. It's not fun. Again, I hope it gets better in the last 4 hours and 37 minutes. But right now, I feel like it's taking medicine. I don't even want to listen to it. Does anybody else listen to it? Has anybody else read it? Does it get better? I don't know. What do you think? I'm just not sure. So anyway, those are my shenanigans of the mind. That was a lot of me talking about maybe not very much stuff. So let's get into it. Finished objects. I haven't really done any spinning. So it's over there. So first finished object is something that I am wearing. It's my Saco stripes. And it is by Pam Allen, and I've knit it in Quince and Company Sparrow in the Fin and Fundi colorway. I think it said Fjord last time, but it's Fin and Fundi. And I apologize. Okay, I don't really apologize, but FYI, I totally was wearing a tank top and like my like somewhat sports bra. And so it has this very exciting neon edge to it, which I just cannot cover up in any way. So this is not normally how I would style this piece of clothing, but I feel like I had to show you. So let's see if I can stand up and show it to you and not, whatever, we'll see. So also I'm not wearing the best bra, but whatever. All those things I said. So yeah, woo, this is not the best bra. You're like, I did not tune in for that. So here's my Saco stripes. It is written as a tank top, but I made mine as a tee. There's my butt. I think, if I'm not no, I could be totally wrong now. So those are not the greatest pictures of it. It looks much better in the wild. But, you know, I feel like I have to show it to you. I can't remember now if I feel like it was A-line. Am I making that up? I feel like it was A-line. I did put, and that's essentially what I did. I did most of my decreases though, right at the, what I typically do is knit like a couple inches and then start doing hip decreases in the back, like their butt darts. Just because I have a total shelf butt. Well, it's kind of not quite as shelfy as it used to be. Gravity. But I have a used to be shelf butt. So I need to decrease a little bit faster. Overall, this sweater has a lot of, even though I did not knit it to have positive ease, it has quite a bit of positive ease. I wasn't really sure how much the linen would like hold the stretch or stretch as it was worn. I wasn't sure how, I mean, I knew it would stretch quite a bit after it was worn, but I wasn't sure if it would be that way at the beginning of the day and then just get bigger, or if it would just be bigger all day. So I erred on this. I went small. I did with negative ease in the hip because Amy Herzog tells me to. But even though I did negative to it, and again, and this was my washed swatch, but linen is funky. It doesn't have the fibers to hold itself together. I mean, hold itself onto the other stitches like wool does. So much like cotton, it really stretches out. So I probably could have actually blocked this swatch, like stretched it and gotten a better gauge. But I didn't. So I wasn't sure. So even though I knit it with negative ease from my washed swatch, it now has positive ease. But I still like it. And again, it is a very loosey-goosey feel to it because it's linen and it's a big gauge for what it is and all this stuff. So here's a picture of me. I'll try to show, maybe this is more helpful. I don't know if it's more helpful or not. It is me in very sunny sun, so it's really, I really need to get a Mac so it's easier to transfer pictures to do these things. So can it happen? Can it happen? Can you do it, computer? Can you do it? Can you focus on a picture? I know it's very confusing. That's kind of cool. That's like I'm a mannequin. It just blew out my face. Kind of fun. But anyway, it's on my project page. I made one. Shut up. I totally did. So anyway, but I totally like it. It's very wearable. I dig it. Oh, and so one of the reasons I did the T version versus the written as tank version was because I knew, again, with knowing that linen is kind of woody, I was like, I don't feel like the tank top is maybe the best idea for me. In terms of, I was afraid that the armhole would stretch and then I would have like, you know what I mean? So that's another reason I went with the T. I'm very pleased with how it worked out. I cast on was essentially 3 inches for the underarm and then just did it like a t-shirt. Yeah, I like it. I totally am pleased with it. What else? I finished my Wild Goose Shawlette by the beautiful Paula Emons-Fuessle. And it is knit with Handspun that I made from a bat by the beautiful Joanna Spring of Knit Spin Farm. Look at that. She, my neighbor to the north, is also dealing with an insane amount of water. She in a much more real way than I'm dealing with it. But, oh my gosh, the mosquitoes. I went out this morning, picked a zucchini and about 9 tomatoes, threw a few squash leaves or getting creaky out. By the time I got back in, I had 9 mosquito bites. 4 of them were right next to each other. Thanks, mosquitoes. Way to be lazy. The bad thing about it is like for some reason, if I get 1 or 2, it's like it's itchy, it's okay, it's fine. But especially those 4 right together, I guess there was just enough, it made enough histamine reaction in my body that it's not like that spot itched. My whole calf from the knee down was like heebie-jeebie itchy. Like I was just like, I can't even take it, I can't even take it, I can't even take it. Somebody step on my foot so I can not pay attention to how much my leg itches. You know, that kind of thing. Ridiculous. So I knit mine, I think, exactly as written. I shouldn't say that because I actually don't know if I did the same number of eyelet rows at the bottom because I just worked until I didn't have any yarn left. But her pattern is written with percentages along the edge, so you can kind of either check in to see if you're on track, or you can kind of, and then you can say, ooh, I'm not gonna have enough, I need to decrease this amount of stuff. It's very easy to modify, is basically what I'm trying to tell you. Oh, this covers my bra. I planned it all along. Anyway, so it's very pleasant. It is semicircular, as you saw. No. Is that what we call them? It doesn't seem right. Yeah, because it's not half circle. It's crescent. That's the word. It's crescent shapes. It's very enjoyable to knit. Mine is long enough that if I wanted to, I could actually tie it behind me. And I'm a big gal, as I mentioned, about 75 times. I know, shush. Whatever. It's part of who I am. And I could even tie mine behind me, so it's a generous enough length because of the increase rate, or the rate of increase, however you would say that. You get a much more shallow but long shawl for your yardage dollar. I'm just basically look like a bag lady by the end of this episode with neon bra. Okay, so then, I know, right? No, we're not done. We're finished objects. I also, oops, you're gonna hear some sound. I also finished not one, but 2 pairs of socks. Which may have been on the needles for like 4 months. I don't know, maybe. They really have been on the needles, I think, since whatever, they've been on needles for a while. So the first pair is with Miss Babs. I think it's Tarte. I don't even know anymore. It's a fingering weight one, but I'm pretty sure it's Tarte. And this is Deep Sea Jellyfish. So, not that the little Rose City rollers are very popular, right? And I apologize, I don't know who the pattern is by, but the Rose City rollers, it's a free pattern. And so they're very popular, but I wanted to make some that were they're basically just shorty socks. So they're just my regular sock, except I did some 2x2 ribbing on the top. And so that and this is a toe up, and this is, because I actually did use a pattern for the heel, because I never do toe up with heel, I always just do afterthought. Sorry, I forgot that I even did that. Didn't put it on the thing or anything. Just, whatever. Come on. I know, right? The iPod lighting is so attractive, isn't it? It's not at all. Okay, we're 28 minutes in. That seems like a lot. Okay. So Fingering Weight Socks is the pattern by Wendy Johnson. Okay. I thought that's what it was. I just couldn't remember. So it's her Fingering Weight Socks. They're toe up, and then they just have like a real basic little heel, but it's very enjoyable and fast to knit. And really, I don't really wear the heels of my socks out. So I like a slip stitch heel. I think they're fun because I like how squishy they are, but I don't really necessarily need them for durability, thus far. So, yay those. Is that all I need to say? I think so. So I just did the heel, and then did, I think, 10 rows of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. They're very fun and cute. I'm almost tempted to go pick up just a few more stitches to do like a little tab heel, but I don't know if I will. We'll see. See? I haven't actually worn them with athletic-y type shoes yet. Okay, I really haven't worn them yet. That's why they're clean. And then, and I have like this much yarn left, which I believe those Tarte skeins might actually be like 4 and a bit ounces, but they're still, I feel like I could at least make another pair out of them. And then the other pair are from Regia Colormania, and they are color number 04070. And I bought this, I think, I definitely bought the Regia at Simply Sock Yarn, and I can't remember where I bought the Miss Babs, but they do have it at Simply Sock Yarn. I think I bought it at SSK last year, if I'm not mistaken. Who knows? I even bought it on the internet. I don't even know anymore. Crazy. So these I actually did as they are. Well, I can't even say that because I did my own heel. But I did it more in the feel of the Rose City Rollers. I did the cast on the cuff, knit down. I did a regular slip stitch heel. And I think that's basically what she uses in the pattern, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't look. I just read it for this information. And so yeah, just did them cuff down. Very enjoyable, very cute. Socks. So that's that. And I have quite a bit of that left too. That's all the finished objects. While we're talking about socks, let's get into socks that I started. Okay. Here's my new trick. I feel like I'm maybe the only person who has this problem, but I will say it just in case I'm not. I'm the only person I've talked to who has this problem. I have a tendency when I'm knitting socks, which is one of the reasons I'm really slow at knitting socks, is I tend not to just sit down and knit them, because the way I specifically knit with the tiny needles that are sock needles, and those are all knit on double zeros, magic looped. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this. You totally can't see it. I hope a family member just walks in right now like, why is there an out of focus finger on the camera? No. Okay, see, they're like a tiny, you can't see focus. Anyway, there's like a tiny little dark spot on my fingernail right there underneath. It's because the way I move my stitches, like to get them, like to shove them down, I don't even really know when it's happening, to be honest with you, because it doesn't happen every time. It's just randomly. I jam a needle underneath my fingernail, and it is unpleasant. Especially when it happens like the 12th time. Like, it's literally enough to make you be like, oh, a little bit like, queasy feeling. So I got these, I think these are like bandages that men use, or women, whatever, whoever shaves. Not me, basically. They're these little tiny square bandages, and I'm just starting to put them in my knitting bags, because if I'm knitting like, in the car, or like, again, like at a restaurant, or like the waiting knitting where I'm only knitting for 15 minutes, it doesn't happen. Because again, if I push the needle under there once, it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable, it doesn't hurt. It's only after repeated pusher underers that I get sick to my stomach. So I got these little tiny bandages, and I've just been putting them over my index finger, and they look not at all attractive, but they're pretty cheap to buy a whole box of them, and I can just shove them in my knitting bag, and then I can actually knit socks for more than 15-20 minutes at a time. Yay! So that's made me very happy, which is why I was able to finish up a bunch of socks. So again, I think it's just particular to the way I knit, but just in case you do the same weird thing I do, tip for you. Okay, so I have my next pair of socks I cast on were Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And her Traveler base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a sport weight, so it's 328 yards. And this is her abalone colorway. Oh, very pretty. So pretty. So I'm knitting them, even though they're sport weight, I'm knitting them on double zeros just so they will be compact and squishy, which they are, and I enjoy that quite a bit. However, I usually do a 72 stitch sock, and these are, I think, 64. They might be 68. I'll have to count them before I cast off, except that I won't. But anyway, they're less than my normal stitch count, but not a ton less. So I will just do these. I might just do a true afterthought heel. Just depends on where I'm at when it gets to be that place, if I'm out and about or if I'm home. So yeah, they're very enjoyable. Yay! Pretty great. Byron always does beautiful stuff. Yay her! And then the next pair of socks I cast on were yarn from Desert Vista Dye Works. No, sorry, I just emailed Desert Vista. They're from Highland Handmaids. And this is her Sugar Maple Sock, which is 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, 425 yards. And this is her Pissed Off Hummingbird colorway. Can I just discuss? I saw this in fiber and wanted it too, but come on, slow down, lady. You haven't spun anything this week. The puppy is so cute when she's sleeping. She's so not peeing or pooping when she's sleeping. It's very cute. Nor is she eating pencils or stealing socks. She will steal socks out of the basket. She climbs up into the basket and steals socks out. Anyway, so I am doing a cuff down sock for my mammal, which is why this sock is so skinny. She has little narrow feet. Well, she has long feet, but they're narrow. So this is a 56 stitch sock, and again, double zeros, cuff down, slip stitch heel, all that stuff. I started to do Hermione's, and I kind of wish I would have continued, but not really. I wish they were Hermione's, but that I didn't have to knit them. Even though Hermione's is like 25% purl every other row. It's 12.5% pearls. I still was like, yeah, it's not really worth it. Mammal doesn't care. So I've used this base from other dyers, and it does seem to be, my gauge seems to tighten up on it. I think it's just got a good, it's a little toothier than like a superwash merino yarn, which I really enjoy, but I think it locks my gauge in a little bit more, so I'm kind of nervous that these might be too narrow, but they look really skinny. But look, I'm so close. I'm already turned the heel. I'm so proud of myself. Maybe I should have my kid try them on. That looks human size, right? Just not me human size. Right? Right? It's totally fine, right? Okay, it's fine. So there are those. And then, let's see. Okay, so last week I showed you a little bit my Lena Tea, which is by Carrie Bostick Hogue. Oh, I don't know, Carrie Bostick. And it is knit with Knit Picks lace weight cotton. So I just made a tiny bit of progress on that. Okay, actually I made a good amount of progress on it because it's a sport weight sweater for my 54-inch bust. Maybe more than that hips. Okay. Let's jump that. Whatever. Zip is a lot of stitches. Those biscuits were all delicious though. Just saying. So that's how much I have done. It's a split garter hem. So there we go. So you knit the front hem and the back hem, and then you put them together in the round and then to T. I do really like this. I mean, it's really super basic. It's just a lot of knitting. I am doing some shaping in the butt. But I think I will make it, again, a similar shape to the Saco, like a more of an A-line, just because it's again, another very open gauge, loosey-goosey fabric with good drape. I think I really dig it. So I'm kind of at the point right now, I'm like, maybe that's going to get put away till next spring. But again, I'll have a good little start on it next spring. And I was very careful, and on what I should do is actually write physical notes and put them in the bag. But I also wrote on my PDF in my little doohickey device what I was doing, because, you know, unfortunately I can never do a pattern like it's written, unless it's a shawl or something. So I had made very careful annotations of all the weird stuff I had done. But I probably should make a print copy too. Write that down. Because I hate that's the only bad thing about putting a project away for a while, is picking it back and being like, what the heck was I doing? And then you gotta like CSI it for 20 minutes or more. That I don't enjoy. Maybe I should also write down where the yarn is. Okay, so then last week I talked about the color Craving, although I think I said color affection, and I do apologize. It's Color Craving by Mr. Stephen West. So I even wrote down color affection. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I knew I was thinking that's another pattern, but I know that wasn't his. So it's the Color Craving by Mr. Stephen West, and I am knitting it with Madeleine Tosh. Twist Light, so that's the base that has nylon. This is Fur Wreath, and this one is Twig. And here is my... Here's mine so far. I don't know how much I'll be able to see because I don't want it to slide off the needles, but... Okay, it's making me nervous, Okay, so there's so far. Here, let me hold one. Yeah, can I see anything's happening? I guess you can see a little bit. Yay! So it's stripy and yarn overy and crazy in the middle. I'm enjoying that. And so that goes on. And then you do some short rowy things. And then at the end, when you have approximately 8 bajillion stitches on the needles, you do a picot bind off, which Miss Joanna Springs, who is the one who inspired me to knit this because she is a beautiful one. So it took her 5 days to do. It'll probably take me 10. But that's going to be in this color, which is tomato. So isn't that fun? And this color combination is brought to you by the lovely ladies at Simply Sock Yarn. Actually, probably one of their customers, but they're the ones who photographed it. And then I was like, give me that! Give it to me! So that's gonna be the bind off, the picot of craziness. Yay, that! And then the last thing I'll show you is my Dutchess sweater, which I put away last year and picked up this spring, I guess is when I put it away. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just making things up. I totally get on my daughter about that all the time because she will literally just say something like she's like, oh yeah, well that's probably because the weight of the star is greater than the gravity that is involved. She knows nothing about what she's saying, but she totally does in her mind, I think. You know what I mean? But she doesn't. I'm just like, do something. And I'm like, I do it all the time. You learned it from watching me. It's true. It's true. Sorry, kid. Anyway, it's the Dutchess sweater, which was part of the Rhinebeck collection. The Rhinebeck sweaters. So this is the Dutchess by Cheryl Burke. She's very cute. There's her version. It's worsted weight, long sleeve with some fun little, very basic chevron-y color work at the top. Here's a full shot of it. I know, right? You can barely see it. Whatever. So I'm making mine short sleeved because I love a short sleeve sweater, especially when it's worsted weight, because I'm too hot to wear that hot. So when I put it away, I should have put a marker in it. That would have been a good idea. But I was like, here-ish. So I did the bust. So I think this is one of the reasons I got a little freaked out about it, was that I did the bust increases way too soon. Because lots of time you want your bust increases to end at least 2 inches below your like fullest bust line, like your nipple line, because you don't want the increases can bring a little attention and I don't care. Bring attention to your nipples. It's fine. I don't judge. It's not, but I don't want them. I don't want attention. Because not only that, mine would never be like right on bar. They would be like this. It would be like, or more likely. So just to bring attention to the asymmetry of my smushy old lady boob. You know what? There's a reason I don't ever rewatch this podcast. Anyway, so I finished the increases way too soon because I basically did the butt decreases, the butt darts, and the hip decreases, as more fancy people would say. But butt's a funny word. And then I almost immediately started the bust increases because I thought, oh yes, I think the sweater I made before this, I waited too long to do them and it was a little bit of a at the end. But I started them too early this time because I can never like write down what I do. Just gonna wing it all the time. So I was a little bit concerned about it, but I tried it on and it looks fine. You're not like, what's going on with that? Maybe like with the illusion of my breasts being more lofty than they normally would be. My Zeppelin boobs just like floating up here. Zeppelin boobs. Anyway, maybe the podcast should be, maybe it should be called Zeppelin boobs. Man, we've got some competition going on. Zeppelin boobs. Or the blues of my addled mind. Ooh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It's too bad it's not like a magazine where I can print alternate covers for East Coast, West Coast, something crazy like that. Anyway, Zeppelin boobs is a little bit catchy, right? Okay, anyway, sorry. That's what I was trying to think. What are the dirigible plums? That's would be awesome. They have like really, well, I guess if you're magical, you could just make your boobs floaty, but like as a muggle, can I get some dirigible plums to attach to my brassiere to help lift my boobs up? Wouldn't that be cute if we just had dirigible plums floating around us? And that would be like the smaller busted gals would just have like 1 or 2. Then I would have like 49. Then they could also lift up my slightly slouchy butt. That sounds exciting. Dirigible plums. Forget it, Spanx. We got dirigible plums. Anyway, I promise I'm not on drugs, but maybe I should be. What the? There's just yarn. Oh, okay. Like there's just yarn coming out of here. So this, as I said, I will knit it short sleeved. And so what I have done is, as the pattern suggests, I put the same number of stitches on the holder for the underarm. And by the way, this is not quite as bright blue as it appears on the screen at this moment. This is Quince and Company, and it's Fjord. Right? That's weird. My Saco stripes is Fundi, but I kept calling it Fjord, and it's the navy stripe. And it's Fjord. And this is the Quince and Company Lark, which is the worsted. But it's a little bit grayer. And I mean, it seems like it's reading more purpley blue than it really is. It's like a very denim-y blue. So what I did is I just, for the arm, I just looked at the pattern for what size arm I needed and cast on the finished number of stitches, because this is a great pattern. It doesn't just tell you, I hate when there's a pattern that's like cast on 76 or 37 inches for the wrist, and it tells you how to do your increases, and it doesn't tell you how many finished stitches you're supposed to have. I hate that. But this pattern very cleverly does tell me that I need 97 stitches or whatever it is for the top. So I just cast on that many and knit the cartridge ribbing, which is what you use for the hem. The hem I think is like 2, I thought maybe the hem is 3 inches even maybe. Nah, it seems crazy. 2 inches probably. I didn't make it quite that long. I think I did like 1.5 inches-ish. And so then just treated it like I was at the top of the sleeve. So now I've got them all together, and I'll be doing some decreases to get my multiple for the color work. Oh my god, the puppy's so cute. And we'll go from there. So this is just the very first round after I put all these things together. Yay, that! That's all. Oh my gosh, so much talking. My throat is really sore. Let's try it. So that's all for this time. I think I'm going to keep on this every other week thing, just because it's, at least for now, I'm not knitting quite as much. I mean, I know that was hot, but that was 2 weeks. And again, that was a pretend thing. That was already started, like, for a while. But so it seems like I have more things to say about nothing. So I should see you in a few weeks. And I think that's all. I mean, that's all I need to say, right? There's nothing else I need to say, is there? I don't want to say anything else. I don't think so. I'll talk next time.